Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. I hope you're all doing fantastic. In this video, I'd like to share with you some of the acoustic upgrades I've been doing here in the live room. I still have a few things to do, but it's getting close enough, and I thought this would be a good time to share what I've been working on with all of you. There were really two main things that I felt like I could improve. One was the overall balance in the room, especially when it came to room mics, drums, piano. I just felt like I could get the room a little bit more even. Two, I wanted to try to open the room up just a little bit. It was a little stuffy in the high mid area, and I thought I could open that up and balance that out a little bit better. So I took a couple days, literally a couple full days, and just put panels everywhere. I moved all the absorbers around, I moved the skylines around, I had things taped to walls, I just moved all over every configuration I could possibly think of until I heard what I wanted out of the room, and then I started putting it all together permanently. So in this video, I'm gonna share the first part of what I've been working on, then I'll do a part two, and I'll do a little recording in that one. So let's have a look. The first panel I'm starting to build tonight, as you can see, I've got it laid out here. That's one of the old ones that's going to get repurposed. But this panel is going to be a half absorber, half diffuser. And it's going to go on this wall right there in the middle, behind where I usually have that set of room mics, directly across from where I record the drums. And I did a lot of testing and a lot of variations with different things here. Of nothing, obviously, because that's the way it's been for a long time. I tried absorption. I tried some makeshift different type of reflectors, just all sorts of things. And the last thing I tried was actually taking some of the more shallow RPG skylines and putting them behind there, and that did exactly what I wanted. And I'll do a little testing too once I get everything built. But tonight, this is what I'm starting with. Here's the outer frame that the absorbers and diffusers will go into. I picked up these really cool Carson wood clamps. Make it super easy to put this thing together. Now all I have to do is drill my pilot holes. I can set my screws, and we're good to go. The frame is put together. I've installed the rails. You can see right there. The diffusers will mount on those rails. And then on the bottom and the top, or top and bottom, depending on how I put it in, will be the absorption. Diffusers are in place. I need to screw them in, but they fit perfectly. The absorption won't go in tonight, but now I'm gonna go ahead and screw those in there and then lift this up and put it against the wall and see if she fits nicely. Here's the frame with the diffusers mounted against the wall. I will have 1-inch absorbers down there and another 1-inch absorber up here. And this is one of several spots where I'm gonna have some 1-inch only absorption, because there's some 4-5K area that I'm trying to deal with in the room, and I don't really want to soak up any more mid-range. So I'm gonna keep some of this pretty thin on the absorption, but I think it looks good so far. Panel number one, done and installed on the wall. Very happy with how this turned out. I ended up with 3 inches of Roxol on the top and the bottom instead of the 1 inch that I had planned, which actually is working out fine. I've done a few tests with this, some mics around this in the room, and it sounds really, really good. It has definitely helped even out a little bit of the imaging in this part of the room, and that's exactly what I was hoping it would do. This entire wall is getting redone. It's gonna be a couple major changes. First off, this is what it's going to end up as. One column of skyline diffusers, a column of absorption, and one more column of skyline diffusers. That'll be the same on this side. You see, I've got the frame started that's gonna go in this one, but I'm gonna have to do some cutouts around the outlets and light boxes. The middle is going to be a huge change. This giant poly or semi-poly diffuser is on the way out. It's gonna be replaced with 2 different things. First off, this is the outer frame for the absorber panel that's 6 foot by 6 foot. It's gonna have 3-inch deep Roxol, and that's gonna go along the bottom area. Up here on the top, there's going to be another panel, a birch panel, kind of like what's happening with the ceiling. It's gonna go from left to right and it's gonna be slightly angled. So I'm gonna have some different angled reflection. But the main portion of that wall in the center is going to be absorption. And this is one of the things when I was testing the room, when I did many combinations of these skyline diffusers, absorption, I had stuff taped up there, all sorts of things. And these two big panels, not two, it's actually three that are all tied together here. These are quite handy. I had those in the middle. Did a lot of drum recording and really liked the diffusion in the middle. It also changed considerably how the room mics out here picked up the kit as well. So it was quite a nice change. The imaging was better. So what I'm doing right now is working on this first panel that's going in the middle. And then I'll work on the sides. Here is the frame all put together. So there's basically 3 2-foot by 6-foot tall bays. And now before I go any further, I'm actually going to pull this off the wall so I can put the mounting brackets up, and I'm going to get it all in place when it's unfinished like this, because it'll be a lot easier to work with than it will be once it's filled up and I'm lifting it up to actually put it there permanently. So I'm going to yank this sucker down and start doing some measuring here on the wall. The frame fits nicely where I wanted it to. It is secure. The bottom half, the top half will get done at another date, but so far so good. So now I'm going to pull it down, stretch the fabric around it, and start putting the rock wool in, and then I'll mount it back on the wall. Fabric time. I actually found a place here in the valley that sold 10-foot wide fabric, and in the guy's shop, I can't remember the name off the top of my hand, but he sells to a lot of people doing acoustic panels. So this is fantastic. I can do this entire panel with one piece of fabric, and I don't have to put it together in the middle or have any weird seams or anything like that. So I'm going to clean up a little bit of my sawdust that kind of ended up there, and then put this fabric around, and then I'm going to fill this sucker up, put her on the wall. The first new panel for this wall is up. Fit nicely, nice and snug. I'll finish this off later, but first I'm gonna get to these panels on the sides to try to get all that stuff done, and then I'll come back and finish that part in the middle, but so far so good. Part 1 of the remodel of this wall is done. There's still a few things to do. I have some trim that's gonna go on the edges of this panel, and above it, I'm going to have another birch, like reflector panel that's going to be at an angle. That's gonna go from the top of this panel pretty much up to the ceiling. So I'm gonna wait till I get a couple other things done, and I'm gonna finish that up. All of the skyline diffusers and absorbers are now mounted to the wall on both sides over there and here. So there's skyline diffuser with broadband absorber in it. There's 4 inches thick Roxel panel, 8-foot tall, and another skyline diffuser, and the same thing over on that side. And from all the testing I did, that was kind of the favorite configuration that I had that helped clean up some of the imaging issues that I wasn't happy with, and also made it to where I didn't have to have so many panels around the kit just to get the balance the way I wanted it. You can still put panels around it to dry it up to get a sound, but I was going for more of drums in the room with nothing around them sounding nice and even. And I've done a couple sessions since having this part of it done, and I'm really happy with the drums right in this position. Super stoked with how the imaging is happening left to right. Also, what's happening in the room with the new panel that's on that side of the wall. I'm gonna move on to the panel that's gonna happen on the wall to my right, which is the back wall of the live room, and we'll film a little bit of that too. Stoked about this though.